All right, Jay, let's move on to the big story here. The one that I really want to talk about. Gunther.
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 Oh, man.
Gunther. Gunther.
Right. Well, you finally got the graphic finally decided, much like the WWE department, which name they were going to go with.
Right. It's a metaphor. Yeah. Oh my God. So here's the broad stroke, folks, in case you have not been paying attention. Walter, the former NXT UK champion, he announced after beating Roderick Strong on NXT this week, saying, the winner of this match is Gunther. He has now changed his name to Gunther. Now, let's just talk about on the surface level what that's all about. Just the fact that he changed his name. Like, first of all, I get changing your name, and I get why WWE would have him change his name in another circumstance because, it's IP. It's like we want to own this name. I get that. That's fine. Right. But why wait until he's already been in the system for 3 years on TV as this ultra dominant champion? And now we're just like, my name is Gunther. Yeah. And like,
it's just it's like you said, it's like going from like Sam to Steve or something. Like, it's just so like,
if Seth Rollins just one day went, my name is Steve, and not even like Steve Rollins, just like, I'm Steve now. It's like, it's not an upgrade for a name. Like when Henry Samuel changed his name to Seal, like, fine. It's cool because it's a totally different name. What's Gunther's rationale going to be? When's he going to cut his promo explaining why he changed the name? And what motivation would there be that's going to make any sense to go from like a name to a different name? It's not like wildly different. When you have like Walter, some people like to pronounce it Volter, like, the German, and, or they'll say it Walter. Either way, that name in that context of knowing who you're talking about sounds badass. For me, I don't think of the name Gunther as like an intimidating name. It doesn't strike fear into my heart the way Walter has for the last few years. Maybe there are intimidating, scary Gunthers out there I don't know about, but that's not the vibe I get from.
Well, apparently there was one.
Well, and we'll get to that. But we're still just on the aesthetic of like the name right here, because Walter, Volter, they both sound intimidating. There's Gunther, which is okay, that's fine. But then if you want to take it to the extreme and call him Gunther, like, no, it's not. It doesn't start.
It sounds like the guy in the 1930s on like the Andy Williams show or something, that was changing tires down at the gas station or something, and Cooter,
Gomer,
Cooter.
Gunther sounds like a roadie at the Motley Crue concert. That's what Gunther is to me. So, yeah, there's that. That's the whole idiocy of the name. It's a dumb name change, and like the timing doesn't make any sense. The logic, I would love to. Again, we haven't heard an explanation. I'd love to hear it because it just right now it doesn't compute. But then there's all the other shit that lies underneath that really makes this a controversy, more so than like say Big E losing Langston, for example. But
right.
The original story was that WWE had filed a trademark for the name Gunther Stark, which, upon a quick Google search, which apparently WWE did not do, it brings up the name of a notable Nazi U-boat commander from World War II. Gunther Stark was the name. And so they were going to presumably give that name to Walter. And so whether or not it was due to the backlash or it was some kind of like they just changed their minds independently, highly doubt it. They just went with Gunther, the singular name Gunther now, which is not Gunther Stark. God. And then the story today was that they have abandoned the Gunther Stark trademark. So they're going to keep calling him Gunther, but they're not going to keep Stark. And just imagine how much bullshit could have been avoided. We wouldn't be having this discussion right now. I wouldn't be putting on my promo voice if it weren't.
You are.
If it weren't for the fact that the WWE like creative department or whoever didn't do 5 minutes of research and clear up that Gunther Stark belongs to an actual person who you don't want to associate with.
It's just so funny. I know if your camera wasn't an electronic device, you'd totally be spraying your spray bottle at it right now. That is hilarious. But, think about it. Whenever you do go to trademark something, any kind of business, the first thing they do usually is check to see if there's anything else that's trademarked like that, or any sort of a Google search or something, as you said. And it's what pops up. So it just seems like a big,
it's like people, some people are trying to say, oh, it wasn't that big a Nazi. Like if he's the first person you come up with when you Google Gunther Stark, he was big enough of a Nazi. As if that makes any fucking difference.
Well, the only thing I can say, maybe WWE released somebody this year in the department that checks on that kind of stuff, and they're just shorthanded.
They lost that person, that critical component. It's a case of either stupid or evil, is the way I see it. Either WWE just had a real big boo and they screwed up, and this is them trying to correct it, or they really want to be like, yeah, we're going to name this guy after a Nazi. Not even a German, but we're going to name him after a German. He's Austrian, is Walter. So not the same thing, turns out. But yeah, there's a part of me that's thinks that there's maybe a small part that's oh yeah, we're going to be evil about this. But I don't know if I believe that, because I think they're stupid. I don't know if this is an evil, intentional move. Because this is the same. It's the same company that's when a writer pitched for Heidenreich to be an unfrozen Nazi, Paul Heyman as his manager. Vincent Mann famously just got up and left the meeting. So clearly drew the line at Nazi storylines, but still you're cool with JBL goose stepping in Germany.
Oh my gosh, it's weird, man. The only thing I can say at this point, he's Austrian, right? He's not even German. So there's that. But I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to move him up to the main roster eventually and put him in Lederhosen,
I hope not. It's they might as well. If you're going to change that name, which is so closely associated with him, and you might as well put the Lederhosen on him. We shouldn't be getting this upset about a name change. On the surface, the name is dumb, but it's whatever. We've gotten used to other name changes over the years. What's one more? But it's just, again, the complete lack of effort, it seems, by WWE to check that sort of thing out.
He has a look to where, let's just say that he does look like all those German soldiers from World War II movies and stuff. I could totally see him going into Hollywood after this and playing stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he just has that. He has that look, because there are some people that when you just look at him, you're like, man, this guy just has that vibe or that look or that feel about him or something like that. I get it.
He would be the mini boss in an action movie. He'd be the big goon, the action movie hero fights. And that's great, but let's not push him along for that direction by giving him a name that's associated with Nazis.
Want to hear more? Subscribe to This Week in Regret on YouTube for full episodes of the podcast, dropping every Thursday night. Don't forget, we're also on SoundCloud.